This week we are going to get into images and links. And so you are going to read pages in the book that deal with adding images and links. And then you are going to work through the lecture demo. The lecture demo gives you a lot more specific information. And you can see that it's split into 3 parts. So the first part basically covers the different types of image formats that you find on the web. So we talk about GIF, JPEG, and PNG, and different ways that you can actually create those files. You know, what interlaced and non-interlaced is, what a transparent background does and how that looks. We talk about animated GIFs, working with JPEG files, PNG files, when to use each. We talk a little bit about SVG graphics, but it is beyond the scope of this class to actually create graphics with SVG. But if that is something that you are curious about or interested in, I did provide a link to a tutorial on that. And then we get into editing graphics for the web. So we talk about some basic photo editing, which some of you may be familiar with already. Photoshop is probably the most popular commercial program for editing. However, that costs money. And so we are going to use a web source called Lunapic. And Lunapic is free. And a lot of the more basic things that you can do in Photoshop, you can do in Lunapic. I also gave you a link here to GIMP, which is a Photoshop copycat. So it's a program that you can download and install. It kind of does the same thing as Photoshop, but it's free. So Lunapic is what we are going to use because it does not require downloading and installing. So this basically goes through some of the basic commands that you would be more likely to do at this point in creating web pages. So adjusting the size of the picture, talk about different ways to do that. How to crop a photo, so how to discard portions that you don't want. Okay, how do you know what to crop, what to keep, what to throw away? How to create a thumbnail, which is a smaller image that typically links to a larger one, and how to correct color. Okay, so these are just very basic things, and we go through how to do this all in Lunapic. Okay, then we get into HTML for images. This is rather short. It just goes through the syntax basically to put an image in your page. And so we go through here, talk about the source attribute and the alt attribute, which are both required. Then we talk about some additional ones that are not required. And as I mentioned, this is pretty short. We get into adding the figure tag and the figure caption tag. And that's really all there is to this, not a whole lot to this particular document. And then we get into hyperlinks, which is much lengthier. So what I would do is I'd go through the images, the 2 on images together, and then I would save the hyperlinks and do that separate. Images and hyperlinks are case sensitive. That is super important for you to remember because upper and lowercase make a difference when you put the pages on a server. So as you're going through hyperlinks, you will learn how to create internal links, and you'll also learn how to create 2 different types of external links, which are links to other pages. You will learn how to link to your own pages using something called a relative link. And you'll also learn how to link to other people's pages. And when you link to another person's page, you have to have the full web address. When you link to your own page, you only need a portion of the web address. So you're going to learn how to do both of those types of links. So it is really important to read through this and that you understand all of the examples that are given. It's also really important when you're dealing with links and images to be aware of where you have put your files, the different folders you have created and what you've put in there. So you'll notice in the lab instructions and in the textbook instructions that I'm very specific as far as how you name your folders and files. And that is to make adding images and creating links easier for you. Okay, so as you go through here, you're going to learn the different types of links. We'll talk about how your folders are structured and how the files in there are named. And you'll pretty much learn how to link to not only pages, but any type of media. Okay, and these are all examples that you can click on and you can kind of see what they do. And then finally, you learn how to add comments to HTML. And they basically start with these symbols and end with these, and anything in between is a comment. So you can see all of this section of the HTML is commented out. So when you view the web page, you don't see it. Okay, so that's pretty much what we've got for material this week. And just to kind of give you an idea how upper and lowercase affects your pages. This is very typical what students would do. Offline, you have all of your pages and you have names. And so when you right click and you open and you view them in, whatever browser, they always display perfectly when you view them offline. Okay, so this is offline. You can see it's got the C drive, which is not on the internet, and it's got, my computer name followed by documents. So this is the one that is off of my hard drive. Okay, and all of my pictures display and my links work. Okay, everything works perfectly. Okay, so if I transfer this to the internet and I choose to create a link and I forget that I made the C capital here. Okay, so instead of big capital C cats, I do something like this. Okay, because everything is case sensitive, it cannot find this page because that's actually not what I named it, right? I named it with a capital C. Okay, so when I create the link to this page, I need to make sure I use the same upper and lowercase letters that I used when I named it. And as long as everything is the same, then when I go to display the page live, I will be able to see everything. So how do you see your pages live? You just key in lisaballback.com/ and then it is your username. Okay, so whatever your username is, this is your NMC username. Okay, so whatever that is, then you can go in and view the pages. And what you'll probably see are the folders, your lesson folders, and you can just click on those to open them, and then you can just click on the various pages. Okay, so that would be how you would be pulling up your pages and checking to make sure that they work. And then you can also make sure that they're there if you have any kind of a linking problem. Because what the links are going to do, okay, is they're going to be looking within folders. Okay, so this is off of my hard drive. This is not on the internet, but when you transfer your stuff to the internet, it should kind of look the same. So you'll open folders, you'll see files, you can open the files. And when you create links, you need to be just aware of the upper and lower case. And you'll notice I have dashes in here. So if I create the link, I have to put the dashes in there as well. And we will be adding links to our assignments page. And the assignments page will open the folder and then it will try to open the file. And as long as we have not messed up on the link, it should be able to find everything. And again, once you transfer this to the web, everything is case sensitive. So here I have Yosemite, lowercase y, and in my lesson 3 folder, it has to be named the same way. If I spelled it with a capital Y here in the link, I would also have to put a capital Y. Okay, so just kind of be aware of that. That is the biggest problem that people have with this particular assignment. The other issue that people have besides the upper and lower case is they don't have the file extensions displayed on their system. And you can see when we view things on the web, this is live on the web, okay? There are extensions, three or four character endings after periods that are part of the file name. But quite often, students don't display that on their systems. I have mine displayed, okay? And so to turn yours on, and I would do it on your 180 folder. If you go into View, where you've got file name extensions, you can turn that on. Okay, and then if for some reason, you go into a folder and it's not turned on there, I would turn it on there as well, because that will show you the endings on your files. So we'll go through the book pages, the lecture demo, and then you're going to get into the textbook assignment, which is more directive with videos. And you're directed to create some folders inside your CIT180 folder. And then you are directed to download files to very specific folders. So when you download these, it is important that you right click and save the link as. Some browsers say save target as, same thing. That is the command that you need to use. You don't really want to left click and then try to right click and save that way. It will work for images, but it does not work for web pages. And I do have you throughout the course download web pages in addition to images. So just make sure you right click and save link as, then you're not going to have a problem. Okay, so as you go through here, there are directions that you need to follow. You'll also notice there are videos that you can watch that show you and tell you how to do everything. And to me, it's easiest if you have a mobile device you can watch the video on, and then you can actually do the task on the computer at the same time. That works very well for this class. Then you'll notice that the Dropbox is down here. You just need to submit done once you've got it transferred to the web. And I did include a couple of an article and a video showing you how to use the FileZilla site manager. there is a feature in FileZilla that lets you save the connection. So instead of coming in here and doing the host, the username, the password, um, you can retrieve it typically by going into Quick Connect, but a better way to save it is to use the Site Manager feature. And so if you read the article, you follow the video, what you'll be able to do is click here, okay, and then connect using that. Okay, and so this is the saved connection. And you can see I have one for each of my classes. I have one for a fake student down here. And then you can see that it did the connection for me and I didn't have to key all that in. Okay, so these articles explain how to use that feature. Okay, and it's optional. You don't have to do it, but a lot of students find it saves them time. Then we get down to the lab assignment. And so the lab assignment basically has you creating a new page. Uh, and it's going to be similar to this big cat page that I have down here, where you're using the detail and summary feature that allows you to show and hide content. You need to find 3 different images, kind of based on a theme. You need to create a thumbnail, and that thumbnail needs to link to a larger picture. Okay, so you'll do 3 of them. And you'll notice that the text that I have here, um, it's quoted. So I just copied it and pasted it right in. This came from National Geographic, so I did cite it. And so you don't have to have original text on here. But if you do get it from somewhere else, put it in quotes and cite it. Okay, that's part 1. Part 2 is adding links to your assignment page. So this is kind of what your HTML should look like for the textbook and the lab. And then you're going to convert those to links. Now, if you named your pages the exact same as me, you can pretty much use what I have here. If you did not name your pages the same, okay, so instead of using lesson 2 with a capital L, you did lesson 2 with a lowercase l. That's how you'd have to key it here. And if you did not say bottom navigation this way, if you know, did upper and lowercase letters, if you did a space instead of a dash, you have to key that in exactly how you named it. Okay, otherwise your link won't work. Okay, so um, if you followed my naming conventions, these will work perfectly. If you didn't, then you have to match how you named the folders and files. The last part of this is adding a graphic to the background of your page. And so there's several different ways you can do this. There is a free PowerPoint background site that you can use. They have a lot of awesome backgrounds that are free. There's a video that shows you how to find backgrounds and download them. If you can also use your own photos or any kind of photo. Um, Quite often if you use a photo, it's going to be too dark, so you have to lighten it. So if you have a photograph you want to use and it's dark, these steps are what you need to do to lighten it, and this video shows you that. And then how to actually put that background into your page. This is a sample of the code you would need to use. And again, there's a video that explains how to do that. Okay, and then once you're done, you'll transfer everything to the web, and there's a video that shows you how to do that. So if you run into any problems or if you have questions, please let me know. But that's pretty much what you need to do this week. You will notice that I do have that free PowerPoint link down here. In addition, I have uh, other links to sites where you can get free images. So if you get an image from the web, it has to be royalty free. And these are sites you can go to and you can find and download free images. Okay, so if you have any questions, you run into problems, let me know. Hopefully, you guys all have fun this week because it is fun adding images and links, and it is something we will be doing um, from now on until the end of the semester. So if you run into trouble, send me an email, let me know. I can help you. Otherwise, have a great week.